Hey guys, this is Sidra. Welcome to my YouTube channel Educate with Sidra. In this video, we will cover the chapter number 3 of O1 chemistry, that is kinetic particle theory. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and click on the bell icon. So let's start the video. What is kinetic particle theory? It states that all matter is made up of tiny particles and that these particles are in constant random motion. It describes the states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gas. Solid, liquid and gas. It describes the differences in the properties of solid, liquid and gas and the changes in matter. What is basically the kinetic energy? It is the energy which a body possesses by virtue of being in motion. And kinetic theory is named because it deals with the motion and energy of molecules. Next topic is solid. Solid is basically closely packed particles, so that's why the forces of attraction increases. Particles do not change position, it only vibrate. Having fixed shape and fixed volume, and it cannot be poured, it cannot be easily squashed and orderly arranged. And kinetic energy is very weak. This is a figure. You can see this thing, the particles are very close to each other. You see this thing very close to each other, okay? So the force of attraction is very high. Next topic is liquid. Liquid is basically close particles but less close as compared to the solids, and having the strong force of attraction but less force of attraction as compared to the solid, and it can change position but cannot separate, and no definite shape but can take the shape of a container. It can flow, it can be poured, it can be it has having fixed volume, and it is difficult to squash into smaller volumes, and the kinetic energy is increases. So this is the diagram. The second one is the diagram. You see this thing, the molecules are not very close to each other as compared to the solid. Next is gases. Gases is a large distance away, forces of attraction weaker, free to move particles, can take the shape of a container, can flow, can be poured, volume of can be easily squashed into the smaller volume, and the volume of individual is negligible as compared to the total volume of the gas, okay? And kinetic energy increases. You see this thing, this is the figure of a gas and the particles are very far away from each other, right? Okay, next topic is changes in state. You see this thing, when solid is converting into the liquid, this process is known as melting or fusing. And when the liquid is turning back into the solid, and what we call as process, this is solidifying or freezing process. Okay, then when liquid is converted into the gas, this process is known as boiling. And the gas is going back to the liquid, then this process is known as condensation, that is condensing. So in this figure, you see this thing, when solid is converted into liquid and liquid is converted into gas, the heat energy is absorbed. And when gas is converted into liquid and liquid is converted into gas, in this process, heat energy released. Okay, so this is the changes in state. Increase in cooling means decrease in the kinetic energy. Increase in heating, it means increase in the kinetic energy. Okay. What I said, increase in the cooling will be the decrease in the kinetic energy, and increase in cooling will be the increase in the kinetic energy. And this, you know this thing, what is this sign? This is a reversible sign. You know this thing, right? Okay. Next topic is changes in state with respect to the kinetic particle theory. Pure substance melt and boil at particular temperature at standard atmospheric pressure. Let's take a heating curve. This is a figure. This is the heating curve, taking time on the x-axis and temperature on the y-axis. So let's start from point A. From point A to B, the substance is solid. The substance is solid and is heating up. And at point B, it starts melting. And from point B to C, mixture of solid and liquid. Mixture of solid and liquid, and during melting, temperature does not rise even though the heating continues. The heat energy is needed to overcome the forces of attraction between the particles. So we can say this thing that melting is an endothermic process. From point C to D, substance is now liquid. And the temperature increases as the heating continues, particles move quickly. What happened at point D? At point D, particles have enough energy to move away from each other and starts to boil. From point D to E, it is a mixture of liquid and gas. Liquid and gas. Temperature does not rise. As we know, the heat energy is needed to overcome the forces of attraction between the particles. So we say boiling is an endothermic process. If a substance is heated in an open container, gas escape out. But if we are using the sealed tube, then the temperature of a gas between E and F will continue to rise and the particle will move more quickly. Okay. So melting and boiling are used to determine the purity of the substance. So this is the heating curve. I hope you understand this topic, right? Next, we are discussing how does the temperature of a liquid changes when it freezes. Means we are discussing the cooling curve. What happened to point P to Q? P to Q, temperature decreases. Temperature decreases to reach the freezing point at point Q. At point Q, it starts to freeze. Okay, then Q2 are liquid freezes. The temperature same even though cooling. Heat energy released. Okay, and it's a mixture of solid and liquid. Q2 are having the mixture of solid and liquid. Okay. And what happened to the R? Liquid solidifies at R. Liquid solidifies at R. Okay, and from R to S, the temperature drop as the cooling continues. So this is the cooling curve. Okay, somebody asked me about what is volatile liquid. Volatile liquid is basically a liquid that evaporates at room temperature or vaporizes easily. For example, gasoline, acetone, alcohol, ethoxine, ethane. So these are the examples. Okay, next topic is evaporation versus boiling. Evaporation is basically, it can be happen at any temperature, but the boiling is at certain temperature. Okay. Evaporation at only surface happen at only surface only, while boiling throughout the liquid. So this is the difference between boiling and evaporation. Next topic is sublimation. Sublimation is basically converting solid to gas directly without going into the liquid stage. It is an endothermic process, and reverse of this sublimation is deposition, or we can say desublimation. It is used to purify compounds. At minus 78 degrees centigrade, carbon dioxide sublimes to gas. And another example, benzoic acid, ammonium chloride, and iodine. These are the example of sublimation. Dry ice is solid carbon dioxide at room temperature and pressure is sublimes into the carbon dioxide vapor. So these are the all examples of sublimation. You can see in the diagram that we are heating the iodine crystals, right? And what has happened? We are using the inverted funnel, having the cotton wool. It basically converted into the gas particles, and here we are using cotton wool that is a little bit wet, so it will be desublime, means gas to solid again. You can see the particles are stick to the funnel. You see this thing, right? And they are not going to the liquid stage. Now next topic is diffusion. Diffusion is a process of the net movement of molecules on atoms from a region of higher concentration to a region of low concentration. You can see in the figure. Okay, and it increases the temperature. Increases in temperature will be the increase in the diffusion. Example, smell of petrol on a very warm day. So these are the examples. Volatile liquid smell spread very quickly. Okay. Okay, the next topic is, and you can say this thing, diffusion is basically a process by which particles mix because of their kinetic energy and random motion. As a result of random motion, particles spread from areas of a higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. What is happening in the diffusion in gases is basically depend on its relative molecular mass. Diffusion in gases depend upon the relative molecular mass. It depend upon the diffusion in gases depend upon the molecular mass, that is the mass of the particle. Here we are taking the example of NH3 and HCl. NH3 having the molecular mass of 17 and HCl having the molecular mass of 36.5. So it has less molecular mass, HCl has more molecular mass. So HCl, the diffusion rate of HCl is less diffusion in HCl, but in ammonia having the less molecular mass, it will be having the increase in diffusion. So we can say this thing that the diffusion is inversely proportional to the molecular mass. Okay, increase in diffusion, decrease in the molecular mass. Next topic is diffusion in liquid. Diffusion is more than gases as compared to the liquid and gas solids. And the higher the temperature, the faster the molecule will move and the faster the rate of diffusion. You see this thing, diffusion in liquid, we are putting the drop into the liquid, you can say a water. This is a blue ink, and look, it is so spreading, it's spreading and spreading more. Okay, but in gases, the diffusion rate is high as compared to the liquid and solids. Okay. Okay, now effect of temperature and pressure on the volume of a gas. The volume of a given sample of gas is directly proportional to its absolute temperature at constant pressure. This we call Charles law. Okay, the volume of a gas is directly proportional to the absolute temperature at constant pressure. Okay, that is a Charles law. And the volume of a given amount of a gas is inversely proportional to the pressure, keeping the temperature constant, means it is the Boyle's law. So heating and cooling can change the kinetic energy of the particle in a substance, and so we can change the physical state of a substance by heating or cooling it. Cooling a gas may change the state to a liquid, and cooling a liquid may change the state to a solid. Increasing the pressure on a substance forces the molecules to closer together, which increases the strength of intermolecular forces. Means we can say this thing that volume decreases, so pressure increases. Volume increases, so temperature, it means increases. So we can say this thing, volume is basically the directly proportional to the temperature and inversely proportional to the pressure. Okay, so this is the effect of temperature and pressure on volume of a gas. I hope you like this video. Please, thank you for watching my video, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel and like and comment. Thank you for watching.